Hi there. So, what we have today is I'm here with our expert makeup artist, Ethel, and I'm going to allow her to just say a few things about her background and what she's able to offer us in terms of as an expert makeup artist. What we're going to be covering today is a very special topic. We're going to be covering some things on how to improve an actor or a model's image marketability because in the world of acting modeling, this is a very competitive industry, as you know. And the more marketable you are, the more likely that you're going to be able to receive auditions and book work. So we want to make sure that you have all these tips and tricks under your belt and be introduced to a few things that can make you more marketable. So Ethel, can you explain to us what is your background and what training you've had and what you can share with us today?
Well, my background has been around for about 25 years. So I started off in the cosmetology world and then really had the great opportunity to really get into the modeling and acting side. So from there, I was able to capture, to understand on the beauty, hair, and makeup, which really took me to a factor where then I set up my own company. Now I have launched a line of makeup, and the makeups are really and tools to help. One avenue is for the models and actors because that's the industry that I am working with. And second is for the everyday person too as well because I find that they always have a need and they always have that image that they want to carry and portray. And so that's where it takes me here today to be able to spend a day. I want to share with you some tips and benefits to help you to be successful.
Great, thank you. So Ethel, I have a couple questions in here, and what I'm going to be doing is proposing a couple different questions for you so we can get an idea of what your thoughts are, because these are a lot of questions that we have that we sometimes don't know who to turn to. And so we're hoping that you'll be able to share with us of your expert opinion. And then I also have a list of different things that we're going to go through as a quick list, and you'll provide us some of your own thoughts on that. Okay. So one of the first questions I have is, as you know, there's a lot of makeup that's available for purchase on the market today. What key things should models and actors look for when they're looking through to find a makeup line that will work for them?
It's really you have to understand your own skin first. You need to know if you're allergic to anything. Second, you also need to determine that what type of makeup am I looking for. If it's going to be stage makeup, is this going to be everyday wear, or is it very much more of a photo shoot? So you always have to keep those things in consideration. Then you look for what is the best one that you have tested. And Sephora is probably one of the stores that I would say is like a Candyland, which you don't buy anything immediately and you'll be testing it. And they have all the testers, they have every company, every brand, and there they also have people that can assist you. And that's where you're able to determine what type of makeup that you need and what you really need. But really on that list of things that every person really needs to kind of have is number one is going to be foundation. Because you need it's a color tint that which help covers any imperfection, maybe concealer, definitely face primer, definitely ladies a lip gloss, gentlemen's vitamin E or vitamin C for your lips, it's just in a tube, moisturizer, and a few other little necessities as we can go along in your toolkit that we add.
Great, thank you very much. Now, there's a lot of different makeup out there, and for models, what indicators should a model look for to determine if they are having an allergic reaction to makeup? Because we're dealing with skin allergies. A lot of people have peanut allergies and those different types of allergies. How do we know when it's an allergic reaction to the makeup versus, say, for something for a female or hormonal imbalances?
Well, really, first is if they were having any skin reactions or really breaking out quite a bit, really the dermatologist would really recommend the right makeup line for them as well, or to make sure that they don't have these products. And all, again, back to my favorite store, besides my own company line, but Sephora is still number one to start off with, is because you can look at every single bottle down to also the ingredients. You can search on their website to pick every type of thing that you want to look at. They'll tell you the full ingredients that's located on there. But that's why another thing is to test all the makeup before you are going to be looking at purchasing, because everybody has testers, but not testing it on not right straight onto your face, but anywhere on your skin or anywhere behind the neck or something right there, because those are the areas that in case you were allergic, it will not hinder or cause any rash or irritation, redness from any front appearances. So then you know that if this is a right product for you. Also, when you're testing in any of the department stores or somebody has applied makeup for you, don't rush and say, perfect, I'll buy this one. Let it set in on your skin. Go walk outside in a natural lighting and they said this is natural. You use a mirror, ask a few strangers, does this color blend on you? Because they'll be honest because they don't know you. So that way you make sure you're getting the right best choices. But you have everybody else at JC here to make sure that we are able to get you the right best coloring products.
Wow, that's a neat bit of advice. I never thought about putting on makeup and then walking around for a while to see how well it looks.
Yeah, it does need to set in with the oils, also the color, because sometimes it may look great in there, but then depending on how it changes the chemistry to your body, everything immediate may be perfect, but in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, something starts to change. And again, that's when you really know your true product.
Okay, thank you. On a side note, since we're talking about makeup, and you've been on many photo shoots where you've applied makeup and have been doing pageants as well for makeup in TV and film. How frequent does a model need to repowder themselves in order to keep the shine under control?
Well, on that side of it, shine is so critical because it makes it flawless, and there's many high definition, everything's on high definition. So there's high definition powder out there, and what it does is that you may have powdered and set yourself already, but oil seeps through the camera heating. So you really need to know yourself testing each time, each location, the photo shoot from film to being outside, depending the sunlight hitting you. So each time, one may be 5 minutes, one may be 10 minutes because it's a colder or non-moisture area. So it's all different, but just knowing your skin, because you should always have your mirror or your powder ready with you at all times. We call that model and actor, actress ready.
Thank you. On a similar note, when I exercise or whenever I go out into sunlight, I am very heat sensitive. So what begins to happen, of course, is I begin to perspire. Is there anything that models can use to keep the perspiration under control before they go into a photo shoot?
A lot of times, really, if you know how heat sensitive you are or knowing where you're shooting, we do have makeup primers. Because I always recommend a primer, because a primer actually really helps filter in anywhere that has makes the skin so smooth pre-prep while the foundation or makeup will go on top of it. So by doing that, there are oil control, there are waterproof, I wouldn't say waterproof, but really just kind of help pertaining where the location you're shooting on. But if you know, maybe having a fan ready to help that, because you can't avoid that. But you should also have blotting paper or tissue so that you have a chance to know if you would blot and make sure you powder again, and then use only high definition clear translucent powder to keep touching up so that doesn't cake up your powder. But you yourself always knowing yourself first to begin with, and knowing different locations and times. That's how I want to make sure that you track it, because you know yourself better than anyone else.
Great, thank you. With regards to loose powder makeup versus pressed powder makeup, can you comment on which is better for which purpose, and is there a difference between the two?
Well, number one is that when you're doing anything, they do sell like mineral powders and items in that category. Mineral powders are just very thin and very natural. Those are just for your quick, I like going out and have that natural look. But for any photo shoots that you're doing, you do need to make sure you have foundation, primer foundation, and then you have a pressed powder, then you use a translucent. But the pressed powder is really giving it that setting factor to set the face, so that way anything else will not move or structure, really setting it up. And the other powder is to make sure that you're kind of keeping it fresh, is what we use that. And the very translucent powder is keeping all shines off, that doesn't cake your face up.
Great, very good, thank you. You had mentioned about high definition cameras and high definition makeup. What can you tell us about the makeup that's coming out that is different for high definition cameras?
Well, the high definition, as you all know, it is really clear to a T. So that means that perfection is the most important that you need. And so the high definition makeup is very light, very coated in a way where it goes on thin appearing, but it really has a clear, best complexion that it provides you in the shooting and appearance. So that way, whenever the camera and the lights reflect on it, it still has the best look and covering any flaws.
Very good, thank you. The smoky eye treatment is very popular with a lot of models now. You'll see it on the runways, you see it actually on the street.
Mm-hmm.
What can you tell us, when is it more appropriate to use a smoky eye treatment? Would you say that it is better during daytime or nighttime, or when can you comment on that?
I really have to say the smoky eye look, everybody sometimes apparently in people's books is smoky eye has to be black. Smoky eyes can be done in any color. It's just a design of having the eyeshadow design. And what it does is that those are really mainly the smoky eyes pertaining for evening, fashion shows, photo shoots. But if you're going out on a daytime and also age appropriate is really a consideration that we really need to think about.
Thank you. I was actually just going to ask you about what would you consider age appropriateness in terms of makeup? Because we work with quite a few preteens under the age of 12 or 13, and then we also have models and actors who range from their teens all the way through into their early 30s. And then we also have our lifestyle division, which is 30s and beyond. Mm-hmm. So what can you tell us about, in each of those different age divisions, what would be considered age appropriate for a natural makeup application?
Natural makeup application is really all the way till the teen, up to 12 and down. They still can go with auditioning and everything you have and knowing how to make sure you have the foundation, especially concealers, because there might be any colors, little cuts or anything that you have. Second of all is that they still need a little bit because sometimes their eyelids are thin and you see a lot more veins. So there's still, you would put concealer plus a little light eyeshadow. And you always want everybody in all the age categories to have a natural blush, because not all of us wakes up automatically have that little glow. So it could be, I call it sun kiss, a little light bronzer blush. It gives you that best up-to-date look. So 12 and under, again, same thing, very, very natural. Gloss, just lip gloss, nothing else extra. No eyeshadow, a little bit the soft color peach eyeshadow just to cover the veins. Lip gloss, no eyeliner, maybe clear mascara. It would be the only thing to keep the lashes clean. Anything from that age group up is really still all natural. And that means the same thing is that you can probably touch up the eyebrows a little bit. No heavy eyeliner, based on, again, age group, even up to, in my category, lifestyle. I won't tell anybody how old I am, but it's my lifestyle group. We still do the same, as natural as possible, only bring out the features of your eyes, your eyebrows. If we're, as again, in my age division group, I'm a little shorter on the eyebrows. Of course, I'm going to touch up on the eyebrows. So it's really critical based on your group, but everything is your most common. Lip, and it doesn't have to be lipstick. You're at a lifestyle, if you like to use a little lipstick, then yes. But gloss is really a really soft, natural look for everybody right now.
Thank you. As we're talking about our lifestyles division, for our older models in the lifestyles division, age 35 and older, what techniques can you offer or recommendations that you have for minimizing some of the character lines that some of the models have right around the crow's feet or other character lines?
Definitely concealer, but also they have a wonderful, again, concealer, or even we call them a makeup pencil, and it comes in a lighter shade, or I call them a highlighter, and there you would kind of draw around, or even a lighter concealer that you would kind of go all around here, because that will highlight the areas and anywhere else that you want to give that lip. So that way when you're powdering with the color and blending it in, it brings that softer highlight and fills it. But there are some amazing products out there too as well. Anybody feeling that how do I have a more cleaner complexion, or anything that I need to like have it more smoother? There is a fabulous product that I've actually tested out, and we're going to carry at JC, and it just takes a moment. It's called 5 minutes, and all it does is there's a soft serum that you put on, and instantly it starts pulling back and gives you a softer complexion look. It's only on everyday temporary use at the time. It doesn't stay permanent, but it does really make a big difference. So sometimes the right products, again, testing what you have in there, but using that pencil is what my trick is, using always a lighter in this area, and then the coloring, because I'm highlighting and bring it out.
Very good, thank you. Now, kind of going in a different direction, where we have some models who have very round faces and have very full cheeks. One of the things that we sometimes find whenever I do some of the photography or in some photos that we look at is that there's loss of definition in the cheeks. What techniques, or how would a model apply contouring so that she has more of a definition in her cheeks?
Really is taking advantage. Blush doesn't only come in one color. Also, so that way you call contouring. So you can actually use a couple of different ways in contouring, and that would be darker foundation that helps you bring into the lines, like in the jaw right here. Maybe if the face is really round, you probably emphasize it entering some color. Some people like to use the powder and use a brush in the same areas that you paint, maybe more definition on the nose. Again, it's really powdering it, tricking, playing with it, giving that strong nose structure. Your goal is to have that long, oblong look. So you're taking every face design that you have and playing. And don't be afraid to play at home. All you have to do is test everything out, take a picture, take a look, and other than that, you can just wash your face and start over again. It's canvas to work with.
Very good, thank you. One of the questions I have is, that as you know, modeling and acting is very competitive, and there's a lot of models who go see agencies, and there's actors who go off to auditions. How does a model and actor begin to assess their current image to determine what they need to change or improve upon so that they can make themselves more marketable?
They really need to always update themselves, because it's really looking at, even as we talk about in the modeling, you should be updating your headshot at least every 6 months. On the acting side, on your headshot should be 9 months to a year, and you always want to keep your portfolio current and up to date. So you're always in the few areas that I recommend to identify what's happening, what changes are happening. It's really, you have a lot of free avenues to look at. One, you've got the internet, you've got San Francisco Fashion Week, you've got all the different fashion weeks in different cities as well, and that's through the internet, and plus magazines and have always updates of the newest makeup coming. They always have it very natural, and again, it's based on your age division, because all the age division, if you pull all the magazines, that's the age division and appropriateness in the makeup. But you always have to remember, daytime, evening, got to identify both. Daytime's very natural, everything that's outside when you can go out. In the evening is, of course, everything has to be a little more darker because you're in different lighting.
Oh, great. Thank you. So I have a quick list of some different topics and items that I'd like to kind of throw at you to get your take on what you think of those, what recommendations you have as an expert makeup artist and an image consultant as well. One of the things I have is colored contact lenses. What are your thoughts?
Well, it can make or break you. So really, love color contact lenses because I live on them. But really, what is that coloring for, especially when you audition, what is most natural on you? So if you have brown eyes, you can lighten them a little bit, darken them a little bit. So stick to the same color tones so that in your pictures, it may be looking at the coloring, but that's still the same color of the eyes that you're stating that you have. Again, those are where you can create, if you're modeling, would be a fantasy look. For actors would be your character. So there's really, it can make and break you is really my answer.
Thank you. Bangs.
I love bangs, but I have a round face, so bangs doesn't compliment me. So a lot of times bangs are very challenging to carry. Because what you want to really do is based on your face shape and a recommendation also in your hair design. Hair design is quite critical because you really need to look and see what are the styles that are coming in. But you also want to have a hair that really is workable in any given way for, can I put my hair up very easily? Is it when I'm marketable out there so that somebody can say, oh, I can just do a little trim or can I just clip this up? Versus you have a haircut that has many, many, many different layers, then it would take a lot of time to maybe put hair extensions back on into your hair in order to get you to look like a character or for a fashion show. So those sometimes may limit you. So really look at what works for you, especially your hair designer that works for you to see what best fit your face shape. Study your face shape also too, because they have a lot of that information on the internet for your own homework, and see the designs that are coming in.
Thank you. The next topic I have is regarding hair coloring. We have a lot of models who are looking to distinguish themselves with different hair colorings, either to enhance maybe turning a brown to a more like a reddish brown. Then we have some extremes who go from a brunette all the way to a blonde. And then we have some models who actually do some highlights and lowlights. What can you comment on appropriate use for hair coloring, or what recommendations do you have? Because as I understand it, there's a lot of hair color out there.
Oh, it is. It's a $1 billion industry, and if you look right now, I am one of the prodigies of that because I do enjoy the really changing, because I like to carry a certain image and following because of in the designs, it's fun. But what's critical for you that we need to talk about is that really is, again, your age division, what's the most closest natural to you, and also again if you're changing, then make that decision while you're looking as a model, your 6 months, each time you're updating your headshots. Actors, actresses, you're looking at again 9 months to a year. You work around with that schedule appropriate timing, because that's when you also have to update, because when you're auditioning, they want you to be as closest to the headshots that's currently on file. The rest of it, if you have different things on your portfolio with the different colors, it's excellent because that shows how diverse you are in marketing.
Great, thank you. Now, as we're continuing on with a lot of these topics, some of these topics may be some sensitive issues or sensitive items for some of our models. So I want to make sure that everybody understands that we're bringing to light some of these questions that models and actors are sometimes afraid to question or to ask somebody. So I'm going to ask them because that's what I'm here for. So facial hair, okay, for men and women. Can you comment on what your thoughts are on facial hair?
Again, I'm going to have to start off, and please understand, my words are frank and honest. And again, to you is that this is nothing offensive to anybody, but I want you to be successful, and I want you to be able to make sure that you're making the right decision. Everything's going to be age appropriate based on your division of your age. You know, if you are 12-year-old and you have you're growing a mustache and everything, is that going to cast you the jobs that you're looking for? Also, if you do have it based on your age division, then are you taking care of it? Is it being trimmed properly? Is it out of place? And also, you should make sure for the gentlemen, if you do carry and have facial hair, make sure that you've got the gel with you to make sure also these need to be combed and fresh too. And when you're auditioning, so all that's got to be in play because its maintenance is number one.
Very good. And facial hair for the women. How can they care for that and keep that under check?
Really on that, you really have to take a look, and again, as different age as you're growing, sometimes you'll be surprised. I may be growing a little more hair down here, a little more whiskers there. Those are easy really taken care of. There's many different ways you can use and take care of that. One, you can be bleaching, again, based on how old you are, because again, it is chemicals and it can be hazardous. You don't want to do any injury to yourself because some people's skin are very sensitive. So you have many options. Wax, threading, tweeze it yourself. Again, look at all those ways to have it removed, or bleaching it. So it just tints the color light enough so that the facial hairs are there. That doesn't cause any injuries to the face. But again, you're still using chemical. But again, really is take a look, step back, and anything is really based upon what's best for you, making sure you're not allergic of any of that. And again, you have also your agent and your managers that you're working with. They're also going to be providing what's best.
Great, thank you. Moving on, we also have eyebrows. What can you comment and tell us about eyebrows?
Well, eyebrows are really important because it really gives a certain feature and a look to you. So if you're lighter on the eyebrows, opportunities may be looking at tinting your eyebrow if you don't want to keep powdering it. If you're planning to keep it, because eyebrows in the growth is about 2 to 3 months of fully change around. Same thing with eyelashes. Some people have very, very light color eyelashes, but we're always having to wear the mascara, and instead of having to wear the mascara, some people may have to tint it to give it that more natural look, and it's really less work for you to do, but that stays very, very natural versus having to do anything else. Some people's lashes as well falls downward, and you try to curl it, and there's other options too in looking at perming them as well, because they stay about 2 months for bringing them, and it really opens a person's eyes. Really, in this industry, in this business, is maintenance on yourself and knowing what to select and do. But there are tools like eyelash curlers and everything. But eyebrows is another thing, is that you don't want unibrows, but you never want your brows too thin. If you shave them, sometimes they may not grow back if you have that. So there's many really looking at having them the right length, trimming them where there's new growth, having them always plucked if you prefer to. So there's always ways that you take care of them, but really making sure that it's not maintained when they see you. You may also have to use eyebrow gel because some people's eyebrows don't go where they need to control them, and it makes a big difference to how clean and how crisp you're taking care of yourself there.
Great, thank you. So one of the next topics we have, and this is going to be appropriate for all age divisions, is fingernails and toe polish. And what I sometimes see is I see girls, they have beautiful nail polish for 1 week, and then the next week it looks like they have been biting on their nails and it's been chipping. What can you comment on best recommendations or best practices for nails?
For young girls or anybody, if you do not wear any nail polishes or anything, you have to wear a soft 1 coat of clear, because that always makes it look like your nails is always clean and ready to go. We also recommend cuticles get dry, sometimes replace sports. When you're going to anything, you always want to maybe use cuticle oils. A really light cuticle oil tapping really makes your hand look like you have spent thousands of dollars that somebody worked on your hands. Your nails got to be filed. Don't have different lengths, trim them. If you have your nails done outside, make sure that it's really the clear, natural nails, because that's what the first impression. And also you need to think about too, another avenue to look at is toes. Chipped, maybe, different colors. I know certain things are in fashion, then fashion it and make sure it is clean and ready to go. But we also think about your auditioning, what's going to get you the job.
Very good, thank you. One of the last things I wanted to touch on is there's 2 areas that always attract attention for when speaking to people or in photos. One is, of course, the eyes. We've talked quite a bit about eyes already. The next portion would be actually around the mouth area and the lips. What can you tell us, or best practices, can you tell us about maintaining our lips to make them look voluptuous or look clean and healthy? What can you comment on that?
That's one of my pet peeves, the lip side, is that a lot of times we're not taking care of our lips, is that we tend to have dry lips, especially winter, or where you live in that area, maybe more dry, chapped lips. And then with chapped lips, it's very tough too, if you have to do a photo shoot or you have to provide lipstick on, the skin is right there. It doesn't look clean. So most really important, either removing the dead skin, but you don't want to just peel because you can easily injure yourself. So you do need to make sure. Another way is that having the vitamin E, vitamin C, putting a light coat of that every night before you go to bed. It's just taking care of yourself by making sure you're moisturizing your skin that night. Remember, this is you. This is how you gotta make sure you take care of yourself. Because a lot of time when I'm on photo shoots, it's a pet peeve. We come in and we're ready to work on a lady, and her lips are so dry that we have to put moisturizer, and then we wait till it really gets softened up. But a lot of times, people can get turned away because we're like, you know what, you're not model ready, let go.
That's very sad. Okay.
And then to add in on the lips of how to define it, if you feel like your lips are not full, easily gloss. And if you're looking at saying that the color doesn't really have much, you always get a natural to closest to your skin tone on your lips, and that's the lip liner you use. You can use that to go all around the lips, and you can do a little bit out of outline. I call it my Cupid V. That's my favorite, to make sure that's sharp. And if you use lip gloss right on top of it, lip gloss is a key to carry all you ladies in your purses, no matter what you need, because lip gloss always makes it a fine, clean, crisp, and that will help you to broaden and define your lips. It's the lip liner. And the lip liner, don't draw it on as heavy like lipstick, but really helps draw out, fill in with the colors, and adding that lip gloss onto it brings out and defines your lips.
Great, thank you. I wanted to close this, and thank you for offering your time for us today to share some of your best tips and practices and comments on all these makeup and image enhancements. One of the things I wanted to just ask you also is, because you have a wealth of knowledge that you've built up over many years of working in this industry. For someone who's coming into the industry now, models and actors, and they're looking to either pursue the makeup artistry, or just some model looking to find the latest trends and everything, what sources can you recommend for them to find more information?
Really is their latest fashion magazines, and then also through the websites for the fashion shows that are happening out there. Find out what's in your local community too, because that all comes down and brings down to what's happening in really understanding the fashions, the latest events to be at, seeing what the stars eat, and especially the magazines. I pick up tricks and tools every day, and whenever they share with me a new product that came out and says this works, if I know Sephora has it, doesn't mean that I buy all from Sephora. As you know, I have my own line, but I still test it to see is it really the quality as it says, because then that tells me that if that product is it, then I'm going to go ahead and have to manufacture it myself after. But again, that's where you can play and not have to buy it immediately, then determine what you're looking for.
Great, thank you. Well, that's all the time we have for today, so hopefully we'll be seeing you around JC, and have a great day.
Have fun.